Hey guys, it's David. Welcome to another weekly outlook with David. So again, we're going to jump right on in, show you guys what our last analysis was, if it came true or not, and what we predict to happen next. We're looking at Bitcoin, as you can see, Bitcoin 4-hour chart, and I've done the liberty of taking a resistance line here and a support line here. Okay, the red line here is the support, our resistance here where we got stopped on this pushback around 9,200 this week, bounced back, okay, and we expected this. If you caught our last video on Bitcoin, you'll see that we basically had the idea from Bitcoin going from 8,500 where we were at to 9,200, which is where we got very, very close to, and to bounce. Okay, now it did bounce and it did retrace, it pulled back down to the 85 level again, which is nothing to be alarmed about, in my opinion, with the technical at least. Nothing to worry about. You can see that during this small bullish run we're on, it's already done this before. We had a nice strong uptick and then a strong pullback and then a strong movement over the past week, and then again we get here and we get a pullback. So I drew these trend lines, and you guys can see that we are in this small trending range. Now, this is just what I expect. Doesn't mean it's going to come true, but so far, if you've watched our Bitcoin videos in the past, fairly accurate. Just a few weeks ago, we were at a 7,500 range. We predicted accurately the next move up here to 8,500. And then we made our next video from 8,500 to 9,200 again. And we're using these trend lines, we're using support and resistance, and tossing in some indicators in there to give us a clear indication if this is really happening. But you can see the trend lines, you can see ideally what I'm expecting to get a little bit tighter in here around this 9,600 area, which, by the way, our next line of resistance, again, it's at, the first one is at 9,200 where we bounced, okay, with our last prediction was there to bounce from there. Once we break this, if we break this 9,200 mark, we're going to be looking at around 9,500, 9,600, okay? And you can see that on our videos from before this, all right? Now, keep in mind, this is a 4-hour chart. We're basing this on a 4-hour chart. We can look at it from different time frames and still get the clear indication of this could possibly happen, okay? Maybe we have a weaker dollar coming up as well. That's going to help with the Bitcoin against the USD. So ideally what we're looking at is for it to trend in here, and as soon as it breaks outside of one of these trend lines, we get an even clearer indication of where it could be going afterwards. What I mean by that is let's say we continue to bounce in this area continually, we get to this 9,600 mark, which is our next resistance line, okay, 9,500, and the candles have a huge breakout to the upside, to 10,000. Then we can accurately, at least with a little more comfortability, understand that we may be heading to 12,000 next on Bitcoin, which is where we have our sights set. Originally we had said 10,000, and I do feel very confident in that still, that Bitcoin will reach 10K again this year. But afterwards, that's where we're going to find some tougher resistance. As you can see, the trend lines get smaller. This is where we're going to find a lot of resistance in here, based on the past price history as well. So again, right where we are now, we are sitting on top of a support line. I feel very comfortable buying again with my personal account here, because of the indications we've gotten from the US dollar and from Bitcoin news and the technicals. The technicals are the most important part for me. So another great buy zone right here, okay? And the next buy zone will be if we break this 9,200 completely. Again, this past week we hit 91.75 or something. It was a strong push back. You can see that here. If we zoom in a bit, you can see that it didn't take long. As soon as that green candle hits the 9,200 mark, okay, 91.87, the next 4-hour candle is a huge crash down. There was no way that they were the bears were going to allow more than 9,200, and that was obvious. So now we got another uphill battle. I do expect 9,500, 9,600 from Bitcoin very soon. 9,600 is a really good area. If we get to 9,600 and we break through this full resistance at 9,500, expect Bitcoin to go over 10,000 this year and very soon. Okay, so if you guys like this, subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of outlooks on many different instruments. I'm also doing a harmonic pattern strategy for you guys. These are, to me, they've been the most successful trading patterns I have used throughout my career, based on a lot of Fibonacci and all, but I'll get these out to you guys so you can get a little more informed. I'll try to break them down to where they're a little simple because they can be difficult to use, but I firmly believe in them. But nonetheless, using just these simple indications, trend line and support and resistance, you can see a much clearer indication of where the price of Bitcoin will be heading in the future. Okay, so just keep in mind with this trend line, if we break down to the bottom side, we may see a crash in the